They didn't just break me. No, what they did was far more calculated, far more sinister. They watched me carefully, observing every ounce of purity I carried, every hopeful glance I gave the world. They admired my strength when it served them, praised my kindness when it benefited them, and used my loyalty as a leash. And then, when the time was right, when I was defenseless, unguarded, vulnerable, they struck with cold precision. The betrayal didn't come from the shadows. It came from the ones I once held closest. That's what made the pain so raw, so unforgettable. It wasn't just an attack. It was a lesson, a painful awakening that carved itself into my soul. They thought they could break me and walk away unscarred. But what they actually did was awaken something ancient, something unkillable, something that does not forget. You see, I used to move through life with an open heart. I believed in people, not because they were always good, but because I hoped they could be. I gave them my time, my energy, my devotion, and they mistook it for weakness. They saw my light and tried to extinguish it. They saw my calm and thought I couldn't go to war. But every lie they told, every knife they planted in my back, every silent betrayal, it was all molding me. I didn't understand it then. I thought I was being punished. I thought the world had abandoned me. But now I realize I wasn't being punished. I was being prepared. They weren't ending me. They were forcing me into my rebirth. I stopped asking why they did it. The moment I realized that some people are only loyal to their own comfort, I stopped trying to make sense of their actions. That clarity became power. I stopped playing the nice guy in a game designed to exploit kindness. I stopped explaining my worth to people who were committed to misunderstanding me. Instead, I turned inward. I went silent, not because I had nothing to say, but because I was building something within. In that silence, I sharpened every broken piece of myself into armor. I transformed my grief into a fire they can no longer put out. I trained in the dark, where no one applauded, where no one believed in me, where I stood alone with nothing but my will. And in that darkness, I discovered what I truly am. They thought I would beg. They thought I would come crawling back, that I would shrink, apologize, disappear. I stared into the void they left me in and learned how to stand there. I didn't just survive it, I mastered it. The solitude they tried to drown me in became my kingdom. The pain they inflicted became my motivation. And now when they look at me, they don't see the version of me they broke. They see something unfamiliar. They see something that does not kneel, something that does not need. They see the monster they accidentally created, a force they can't control, can't manipulate, and can't forget. But let me be clear, I am not seeking revenge. What I am building is far greater. Revenge is temporary. Power is eternal. I want them to witness the greatness that emerged from the wreckage they caused. I want them to see the rise, not hear about it. I want them to feel the weight of my presence in every room I enter. Not because I yell, not because I threaten, but because my silence now carries more force than their loudest lies. I want the sound of my name to echo in their minds, not as the one they fooled, but as the one they should never have touched. That's not revenge. That's justice. You can only bury a man so many times before he learns how to resurrect himself. And that's what I've done. Not once, not twice, but countless times. I rose from ashes so often, I started calling the fire my home. And with every rise, I lost something. My innocence, my illusions, my softness. But I gained something far more valuable. I gained clarity, focus, power. I stopped hoping the world would be kind and started building a version of myself that didn't need it to be. A version that moves with intent, that breathes without approval, that walks alone and feels no fear. I've built a fortress inside me, and from within it, I move like a storm no one sees coming. They will try to rewrite the past. They always do. They will say they believed in me, that they saw this strength all along. But I remember the silence. I remember the abandonment. I remember the names, the whispers, the doubt. I remember how they laughed when I stumbled. And I remember how loud their silence was when I needed them the most. They'll pretend, but I don't forget. I keep every memory, every moment, not to dwell, but to remind myself what I rose from. They may try to claim me now that I shine, but they were never there when I was drowning. They can't claim this fire. They didn't build it. So, call me a monster. Say I've changed. Say I've become too cold, too distant, too sharp. But know this, I didn't choose this version of me. You did. You forced it out of me. You pulled it from the shadows with your betrayal. You summoned the storm when you struck the match. And now, it's here, unapologetic, unyielding, unstoppable. I walk through this world now not to be liked, not to be accepted, but to conquer, to leave a mark that whispers through history, not as someone who was broken, but as someone who became indestructible. They made me a monster. Now, they'll fear my name forever, not because I'm cruel, but because I endured what would have destroyed most people. And I came back hungrier, harder, and more dangerous than ever.